Right, let's just have a little bit of transfer news because the Kylian Mbappe story sort of fits in with this as well. But the first one I want to talk about is David De Gea. On a normal morning, we'd be leading on this. This is big, big news, and it's coming in from Fabrizio. So normally, this would be our headline story, and I'm sure a lot of people would get excited about it. So Fabrizio Romano has said that Saudi clubs are aware of the verbal agreement at final stages between David De Gea and Manchester United over a new deal, but they're still insisting to tempt the goalkeeper. Man United remain on the market for the new goalkeeper in any case. So we've discussed this situation a little bit. Look, the cold, harsh truth is, and it's been publicly stated anyway, but it's the story behind the scenes. United have been working on a new contract with David De Gea for months. Erik ten Hag has signed it off. David De Gea is pretty happy with it. The club are ready for it to be announced, but there is a hold-up. Now, the hold-up now appears to be that David De Gea is wanting to know who the goalkeeper is that United are going to bring in, and he has got options on the table now with Saudi Arabia. So, careful what you wish for, because David De Gea could take a huge, huge, ridiculous amount of money and just walk away. He's out of contract in 2 weeks' time. So David De Gea could walk. The contract's there. It could be signed at any time that he stays, but he could walk. So United are now in a position where they don't have the money to go and buy an Onana or a Costa because they need to buy other priorities. But their goalkeeper that's meant to be their number one next season could walk. Now, I still don't think that will happen, but Saudi Arabia are interested in David De Gea, and there may be a couple of other clubs that are interested. And he is free, and there might be an offer where he just goes and takes it. In which case, he walks out the door like Man Utd did last year, and we don't have a goalkeeper. Now, people are going, quite rightly, because this is just the way minds work, oh, I hope he goes. I hope he goes, because then we can go and buy Costa. We haven't got the money for Costa now. We haven't got the money if David De Gea goes. We don't get any money for David De Gea. There's no Saudi Arabian 50 million quid. He walks out the door for nothing. If he walks, we've got Dean Henderson in goal next year, basically. The reason United haven't sold Dean Henderson yet, even though Forest are ready to do a deal, is because United are waiting to see what happens with De Gea now. If De Gea stays, Dean Henderson's getting sold. If De Gea goes, Dean Henderson might stay, because United haven't got the money to go and buy a £50 million goalkeeper. And some people don't seem to understand this, but that is the situation. If David De Gea signs the contract, we haven't got 50 million to buy Costa. If David De Gea doesn't sign the contract, we still haven't got 50 million to sign Costa. So Dean Henderson could end up being our number one next year if David De Gea doesn't sign the contract, which terrifies me. I think that's a massive step down. It's all if, buts and maybes, but I think where we're at the moment, based on the budget we're going to have, we haven't got the money to buy Onana or Costa because we need 2 strikers, 2 midfielders. We haven't got the money for a goalkeeper. So everyone going, oh, I hope De Gea doesn't sign and he walks. Be careful what you wish for, because it'll end up being Dean Henderson as our number one, because we haven't got the money at the moment to go and get the goalkeeper that we would like to replace De Gea with. So as much as some people are getting excited about that, I can only give you the news, and that's why we're not. That's why Dean Henderson to Forest hasn't happened yet, because United are watching this De Gea situation, sort of going, shit, we didn't see this coming. I think United felt that they could take the time with De Gea because he had no other options. What we're now hearing is United are sort of going, oh shit, we should have got this done a little bit quicker, because Saudi Arabia has appeared, and suddenly you can be Kante on £100 million a year. David De Gea, his contract at United is about 15 million a year. So it puts into context, and he's got to take a pay cut. They want him to go down to 10 million a year. So even if Saudi Arabia are offering 50 million a year, it's still a massive, massive amount. So we'll have to keep an eye on what happens with that. We'd read that. So keep an eye on the David De Gea situation. My personal feeling is that he'll sign the new contract and he'll stay. But honestly, I don't want him to go if it means Dean Henderson's our goalie next year. I really don't want that. But it would be, you know what, I agree. I agree with, I agree what somebody in the chat just said. Manuel just said, you know, that would be incompetence all around if that happened. It would, because whatever you think about David De Gea, remember he's got a value. I mean, what is David De Gea? 32. Even on the open market, he's still worth 15, 20 million. Some might say a little bit more. So, you know, you're letting a player walk out the door for 15, 20 million, and then you're keeping a player like Henderson who you're just about to get 20 million for. It's just incompetence if that happens. But I think Henderson will be sold, and I think we will get hold of him. Stock price watch, it's just gone over $24, so it's going back up again. It's peaking and troughing a little bit at the moment. What we need with that stock price is for it to stay around $25. Donnelly says, great show today and last night, chat. Well, we're all learning stuff, aren't we? But the shares are going back up, which is good news. We want that to happen. But I think it's going to happen. Kylian Mbappe. What are the chances of Kylian Mbappe coming to Manchester United? Look, so I've got a video on That's Football going up at 11 actually about the Kylian Mbappe situation, so I don't want to go too much into it, but I'll totally make this about United because that's not really about United. I've always said to you, and I think some people have agreed with me, no news is good news. All hope it gets resolved soon so we can start spending some pounds, says Dean Adams. Thank you. Well, there's not, you know, Dean's absolutely spot on. There's not been any flat denial that Qatar are going to buy the club, has there? You know, we've heard premature, but we've not heard denial. If De Gea does go, wouldn't a first-class keeper move up the priority list, says James? Well, yeah, it could happen, James. It could happen, but, you know. In relation to Kylian Mbappe then, so he is effectively saying that he wants to leave PSG, and we all know that he wants to go to Real Madrid. He's got 1 year left on his contract, and next summer he'll be free. PSG, therefore, have got to make a decision on Mbappe because you can't let the world's best player leave on a free. So they've got to do something this summer. And it looks like Kylian Mbappe could be the big signing of the summer now. And there's an 80% chance he's going to end up at Real Madrid. There's probably a 10% chance he'll sign another contract at PSG. And then there's probably a 5% chance that he'll come to the Premier League. 5% chance he'll probably go to Saudi Arabia or something like that. So it's a very low chance he'll even come to the Premier League. But what I would say is, if United were owned by Al Thani and PSG needed to sell, they would sell him to us because they don't like Real Madrid. Now, whether Mbappe would come to Man United is another thing. He might say, I'm not going to Man United, I'm going to run my contract down, I want to go to Madrid. But PSG would try and sell to Manchester United rather than Real Madrid, especially if Al Thani owned the club, because obviously there's a relationship there. It's a small chance, but it's probably no chance. Well, it's no chance under our current ownership model, but if we were owned by Al Thani, there's a small chance, and that's what I would say. Of more interest to me, and this has got nothing to do with anything apart from the sale of Manchester United, I've always said that it wouldn't surprise me if Al Thani bought Man United that PSG got sold. Many people feel that won't happen. We even had the president saying at the weekend that he loves PSG. So, but Neymar's about to leave. Messi's already gone. Mbappe wants to go. That PSG project, what is it now? You know, who are the superstars at PSG now? Like that PSG project needs building again, and I don't think they'll ever be able to build it as good as it was. So maybe the PSG thing is going to end anyway, and it's all going to be lumped onto Manchester United. I don't know, but I certainly think that if, and it does look like it will happen, but if we get bought by Al Thani, nobody can predict the future. Nobody can predict the future. So we don't know what the future will be. We don't know whether we'll be able to buy people like Kylian Mbappe, the best players in the world. So we'll have to just wait and see. The stock price is around $23.75 at the moment, if you're on the right website. I've got it absolutely live, so it's stable at the moment. 2:30 is going to be the biggest thing. 2:30 will be when the New York Stock Exchange opens. When the New York Stock Exchange, you can always trade on the stock exchange, but most trades are done when the stock exchange is officially open. So keep an eye on that one.